So I see you guys have all been typing up in the chat, and I really appreciate that. It seems like we're all excited to be back, but I just wanted to welcome you all to the Spring of 2024 Student Club Symposium. My name is Vivian Delgado, and I will be one of the many hosts that you'll be hearing from today. But before we get started, I just want to take the time to review some of the topics that we're going to be going over. A few introductions of the student engagement staff, as well as the advisors. And of course, just to remind you that we're here to help you navigate through what it means to be part of a club, whether this is your first club or the fifth club that you're part of. So this symposium, we will be doing things a little different than how we've done it in the past. And what I mean by that is that we are going to have breakout rooms. So we'll go ahead and do the introductions, and then we'll go into our first breakout session of financing. So giving you tips on just the basic budgeting, what you can use your money on, and how it all works. Then you also have the option to go into a recruitment and retention. So, how to get new members and how to also get them to stick around with you. And for the advisors, something that we're doing this semester is, oh, I can hear myself echo, um, is that you'll have the chance to meet other advisors and just connect with them and chat with them, give each other some advice. Then we'll all come back, break out into our second session of you'll either have the option of delegation, so that way team leaders will never have to feel burnt out, or you have the option to go into a Q&A with Chrissy or Dan Sim, and then we'll all come back for fostering a culture of belonging and do closings. So our goal for today, so we can already tell that you being here demonstrates that you're dedicated to your club or your org. And we're just here to provide you those extra building blocks that you may need to improve your leadership skills, as well as helping you all gear up for the start of the semester. And to help us get a little more familiarized with each other, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce some of the student engagement staff, as well as some of the advisors that are here with us today. And we'll do this popcorn style. And I'll go ahead and go first, and then I'll popcorn it over to someone. And if we could just keep that chain going, that'll be perfect. But my name is Vivian Delgado. I am a coordinator for the Office of Student Engagement here at CCBC, and I am based off of the Dundalk campus. And I am going to go ahead and popcorn this over to Destiny.
Okay, can you guys hear me? My name is Destiny Jackson. I'm new in the student engagement staff over at CCVC Dundalk. Sorry, I just said everything I needed to say. I'll popcorn it over to Chrissy.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you. Happy January. It's a good purple week. So if you're a Ravens fan, which I am. So Chrissy Hoffman, I'm the Assistant Director of Student Engagement. I help to oversee the Essex and Dundalk campuses and also do some college-wide fun things that happen. Oh, so I can't just say Dan. So I'm going to say Dan Sim and popcorn it over.
Hi, my name is Dan Sim. I work with our Student Government Association and our student organizations, typically at Catonsville. I'm happy to see you all here today. And I'm excited for the spring semester. Dan Coco is here, I know, somewhere. I saw him earlier, so I'm going to popcorn over to him.
Hi, I'm Dan Coco. I'm a specialist for the Office of Student Engagement, and I swap campuses between the Essex and Dundalk campuses. I will popcorn it to Renica.
Hey everybody, my name is Renica Permetla and I'm one of the coordinators for the First Year Experience program, and I'm also one of the yoga club advisors, and I teach ACDB, and also I'm a sign language interpreter. Glad to be here. Student engagement is my favorite office.
And now if
Who's
we have,
left?
I
Nobody?
think, yeah, if any advisors want to go and introduce themselves, you're welcome to.
Hi, I'm Linda Gronberg-Quinn. I'm a co-advisor of the Dundalk chapter of Phi Theta Kappa, co-advisor with Chrissy Huffman. And I'm also the department chair of teacher education. If anybody wants to be a teacher, come see me, please.
I'll say hi. I'm Sharon Trumbull, and I'm an art professor, and I am the current advisor for the art club. I just had oral surgery, so I look a hot mess and did not want to be videoed with all my bruising. But the art club was really active for years, and then it kind of fell by the wayside. It wasn't due to COVID, it was prior to that. But during COVID, I started just really missing the sense of community and our field trips and all the things we used to do. So all last year we met unofficially, and this year we came back. And so we're excited to we're kind of new. My officers and I both at this, but we've been doing projects all fall, and we're super excited to be here.
Ashley, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay, my headset doesn't want to work. So say hello, I'm Ashley Worthington. I am the co-advisor for the Student Honors Council here at Dundalk, along with Tara Meyer.
Can everyone hear me? I'll just go real quick. I'm Brandy Allen. I am one of the staff advisors for the Black Student Union. Apparently this is another organization that kind of fell off the wayside post-COVID, and the organization did the work to reenact itself for this academic year. So we hope to have some activities and things for you all to participate in and get to know the wonderful students of BSU.
If that is it, I will go ahead and move on, and then the advisors can meet together during the first breakout session. So one of my favorite CCBC events that happens at the beginning of each semester is Connect Fest. So I'm sure many of you have already attended one in the past, or this may be the first Connect Fest that you'll be part of. But this is truly a great opportunity to get the word out about your club. We usually have a bunch of tables set up, and there's lots and lots of students walking around. So this is actually the perfect time for you to reserve a table with us and try to mingle and try to recruit some new members into your club. So if you think you'd be interested in hosting a table at Connect Fest, Dan Sim has been sending out emails about how to do that process. If not, you can see the forms.microsoft.com. If you take a picture of that, or if you type that out, it takes you directly to the forms where you can reserve a table. And then I also included the Connect Fest flyer, and you'll be seeing this posted everywhere on social media and on our bulletin boards. So just try to pencil these dates in, take a picture if you'd like. So I'll let you guys do that.
And I put the link to that as well in the chat.
Perfect. Thank you, Dan. So now we are going to go ahead and do our breakout rooms. So like I mentioned earlier, you have 3 sessions to choose from, either financing, recruitment and retention, or the advisors can connect with each other and chat. So we're gonna load up those options and you can pick where you want to go.
So for those of you who are still here, you're going to see in your toolbar an option for breakout rooms. Once you click on that, you will see the 3 options and you're going to go ahead and join one of those rooms. If you're having issues, you can let me know and I'll be glad to put you into the room that you wish to go into.
This is Grace Blondell. Can you put me into group A?
The financing one?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm gonna go join my group. See you
All
guys
right.
later. Hi everyone. I'm gonna pull up the PowerPoint real quick. Okay. And so welcome. If you were not here earlier, my name is Vivian and I will be your host for Financing 101. Um, so money and budgeting can sometimes be a headache if you have no idea of how much money you have to use, or how you can use it, or if there's any restrictions. So today, hopefully, I can alleviate any anxiety, stress, or headaches that may come from budgeting with either being part of a club or an org. So first step is allocations. So how much money does my club get? Do you guys know? No idea. If you want to put it in the chat, it's up to you.
I think it's like 1,200 was in an email a couple months back.
Hmm.
No, say my club is also over 1,000.
So actually, if your club is a new club, like you guys just started back in the fall semester, or you're starting this semester, you actually get $1,000. But if it's a returning club, you know, it has its stripes, it's been here for a while, then you're actually given 2,000 for the academic year. And what we consider an academic year here at CCBC is from the beginning of the fall semester to the end of the spring semester. So, for example, this year, it would be September of 2023 to May of 2024. So, it's not a lot of money, but it's some money. So you have to keep in mind that you have to spread this money out within 2 semesters. So just being wise about it. So if for some reason you start to think like, oh my gosh, we're running very low on money, but we have this amazing event, or you guys are affecting the community in very positive ways, and the SGA and the student engagement staff can see this, you can actually come and ask us for more money. So how does that work? So first things first, you're gonna check to see how much money you even have in your budget. You can't be like, can we have more money? And you still have over $500 left. So just being wise. And then you and your advisors and any of your club members will sit together and write a formal either letter or email to your SGA representative, or you can directly contact Chrissy or Dan with the reasoning on why you need uh, more funding. So that's your responsibility. And then it switches over to the SGA's responsibility. So they'll bring up your email or the letter you sent in one of their SGA meetings, and they'll discuss it on whether or not it can be approved or if it's going to be denied. And yes, I will be emailing this PowerPoint. So we've discussed how much money your club gets and how to get more if you need to. But you're probably like, well, when can we start using the budget? So that's a great question. But something that is very important that you need to know is that in order to use your budget at any time, we need at least a 2-week notice, and we need to approve any purchases that you make within your budget. So, like we discussed earlier, you can use your budget for anything like food, giveaways, event decorations, travel, if you want to take a trip somewhere, if you want to have someone come speak, or they have some cool expo stuff, uh, we can fund that for you using your budget. But what we cannot fund is like if CCBC already has laptops or printers, we will not buy you those type of equipments. And then Zoe has a question saying, would we communicate mainly email about the budget? Yes, you can, or you can swing by one of the student engagement offices, and if there is a staff member available, they can try and help you. So have you guys ever seen any other type of events that you think require a budget that aren't listed on here?
Yeah, I was gonna say, taking a reservation for a space at
Yeah. So I'm gonna thank you for bringing that up, Benedict. And trips, yeah. So at the end, I'm gonna do a walkthrough. So you see the form that shows you how to request space and how to request to use your budget. My computer froze. I apologize. I keep hitting next slide. So something that's very popular that clubs and orgs like to do is to use their budget for food, because who doesn't want food? So if you're not aware, CCBC actually has a contract with Sodexo. And this means that 98% of the time you use your budget for food, it's going to come out and be made from the kitchen in Sodexo. So if you've ever been to like one of our cafeterias, they're the company who's doing all the cooking. They're the ones that make our chicken tenders, our pizza, tacos, just all the food. But you can be exempted from not having to order from Sodexo if you get pre-approved and you have specific needs. So whether it be like cultural foods that Sodexo can't provide, if you need kosher or halal food, or perhaps you have an event or you have a trip that's going to be during the weekend or off-campus events. But you do need to get that approved before any of that occurs. And then another thing is that we have to give you the green light about where the location and the date and the time of your event will be in order to place that catering order for you, because, you know, it makes sense. we can't be like, deliver the food to this room if we haven't reserved you that room. So it's just playing it safe on our end and then just making sure there's no confusion with the catering. Food requests do have to be put in 2 weeks prior, and I will show you at the end how to get to the Sodexo menu. It's really easy. It's on my CCBC. We do limit you to have 3 catered events per semester. So for one academic year, you can have up to 6. And you also do have a limit of $60 on each of your catered events. So you got to be cautious about that. You obviously wouldn't order 10 pizzas if you only have 5 members. You would probably sit with each other and discuss what would be the most logical way to use your budget as well as what will get everyone fed and satisfied. So giveaways and promotional items, sometimes we want people to show up and we have to give them things. And you can use your budget for those type of things. But for the academic year, we allow you to use a max of 250 on giveaways, like either buttons, pens, so forth. So if for some reason you are giving a giveaway that is more than $10, we ask you to have a sheet where you have students write their full name printed and a signature, and then have them write their student ID number. You would then turn in this sheet into the student engagement office 2 days after the event because you're being held accountable and we're being held accountable of where is this money going. So if we have proof and we can check off all our boxes, that's even better. If you plan on doing raffles, the raffles can't be more than $15. And we always encourage you to try to do CCBC one card bucks as incentives, just because you're like keeping it within the CCBC community, and then students can also just go to like the bookstore or get like lunch or snacks with that money. And I know that sometimes we're like watching a movie for our next club meeting or our event is super easy, right? Quick, get it done. But it's actually not that easy. So I'm sure many of you have seen this warning sign, and there is a purpose for it because we can't publicly share movies or shows that we have not purchased the legal licensing for. So what you'll need to do is get a movie license, and we know how to do that over at the student engagement office, so no need to panic. The only downside is that it is costly. You're looking at about $300 to $700. So for those legal copyrights, it's a bit much. But if it's a movie that goes with like uh the message that you're trying to send with your club and org, then it's worth it. And I'm sure many of you like seeing when clubs or orgs take those trips out beyond CCBC. And just know that that is coming out of your budget too. So if you plan on traveling, your advisor has to be present during the whole trip. We have some specific guidelines for traveling, which I won't get into, but if you swing by the student engagement office, we have all those rules and steps on how to go about that. But to give you an example, for example, if you're part of PTK, we will pay for conferences, and that doesn't come out of your budget. And we will usually cover for 2 students and 1 advisor for any regional conference. Now, if it's a group trip, not a conference, like you guys just want to go to Philadelphia or DC for a day, that will be out of your budget. Again, your advisor has to be there. You need to submit a travel application and just have all that paperwork into us. And then, of course, we'll work around seeing how much it'll cost. And then, Benedict, you have a question?
I had a question. It's kind of a minor one, but will we be excused for classes where we had to go on a trip or no? Or that depend that we had to let our professors know ahead?
Yeah, so usually you can show proof of either the flyer that we have going on, but it depends on the professor if they would want to excuse you or not. And they usually also try to avoid making trips like during class times. Like they'll usually do it during holidays or weekend or like maybe later during the day. Good question. Thank you. And Shania?
Hi. Oh, you got my name right.
I had a friend.
Um, I normally don't get that, but I wanted to ask, is there like a list for like the movies that are like, owned by the school so that we can look at that and see if that like pertains to like the kind of criteria that we need?
Yeah. So if I know Catonsville keeps track of this, are you based, what campus are you based off of?
The Dundalk campus.
Dundalk? Okay. Actually I can find out for you. I'm also at Dundalk. Um, and I'll let you know. That's a great question.
Thank
Oh,
you.
of course. And some tips for you all. Let me move this. So I've been saying 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks for a lot of things, but some things actually require more than 2 weeks of advance notice to us and us approving things. So like going on trips or if you're traveling, that's probably gonna require upward, like I don't know the word, like up to a month of a notice. If your event has a lot of logistics, like you have a specific setup and you have maybe bug expo coming in. That seems like it has a lot of things going on. We would definitely need more than a 2 week notice. If your event is quite expensive, we would also need to meet and talk things out with you to see how that's going to work. And of course, if you have something super unusual that we've never either helped organize, but we see your vision. That's also going to take more than 2 weeks. So what happens if for some reason you see this amazing sale or it's been almost 2 weeks and the student engagement office is not responding to you, but your event's coming up and you want to buy this thing for that event? Well, just know that if we did not approve or give you that green light to go ahead and purchase that thing, you may run the risk of not getting reimbursed. So I always say play it safe. So the other thing is that the student engagement office, if you were to purchase something with your own funds, we don't reimburse for taxes, but we do provide a tax exempt form that if you show at the checkout line, we'll get taxes knocked right off. So I'll show you where that is at the end of my presentation. And we've honestly been doing this for decades. So if you have any questions about purchasing, just come and talk to us. Um, and the next thing, we've always wondered, like we go out or you're with a bunch of group of people and you're wondering, well, who's gonna pay? Or uh, no one likes to pay, right? Like you just kind of freak out because you never know if people are gonna actually pay you back or not. But we're very good at that. If you give us that advance notice and we approve you for it, you will get reimbursed. So we do provide checks if you're having a specific company or a speaker come onto campus or if you're visiting them. And we do have some rules that they have to follow, like they have to fill out a contract, they have to show us their W-9s so we know that they're a legit company. And once we're able to check off all those boxes, then we will talk to accounts payable and they'll take care of sending a mail out to that company or location that you want to go to. Uh, we also have a credit card, so it doesn't have to be stressful for you. Like if you got approved to make a purchase and you saw something on Amazon, Target, Walmart, Etsy, whatever it is, and you send us the exact link and the exact quantity of it, we will purchase it for you. So you won't have to worry about taxes or getting your money back. It'll just come out of your budget directly with our credit card. Um, but if you see something again and you have to fund it with your own money and you want to get reimbursed, uh, just keep that itemized receipt and have your tax exempt form, and we will work with accounts payable and get you your money back via check. And then we also provide you cash. If you're like, I'm gonna go buy a pack of 20 pens to give out as a raffle price. Um, we'll give you the exact amount of money. You go to the store, you buy it, and then you just bring us back the receipt or any change that you may have. And like I was saying earlier, I'm gonna show you how to do that form of oh, and then there's a question. When you mean in writing, does that mean on paper or online? So do you mean in writing? I think what I meant was like the receipt is in writing. I guess a copy would have been better wording. But yeah, just the actual receipt. We don't take copies of the receipt because we want to see the actual one, but we can make you a copy of the receipt at our office. And I will show you now that form really quick. If you bear with me. Oh, so getting the green light to use your budget, I meant in writing in an email. So once you fill out this form that I'm going to show you, whoever fills it out gets a copied email to them. And if it isn't the advisor also gets it emailed to them. And then either Chrissy or Dan, Sim, will send you an email saying you have been approved in an email to use X amount of money for this item. And let me show you really quickly on how to get to those links.
Hi, so we just got out of the breakout rooms. Hope they were enjoyable. So now we're gonna kind of lighten things up and we're gonna play a scavenger hunt activity. So if we could get to the next slide. So we have about 3 minutes, and if anybody in their immediate vicinity could try to find something blue, a coin, a pen, a cup, and a hat. And bonus points if it's all 5 of those things in one, but it's going to be a little difficult if, but yeah. Got about like 3 minutes.
I have all my items.
Wow. That's amazing.
You need to see them?
Um, I
Or
believe
wait.
you. You have yours. Nice, nice. Nice. That's on the pen. Up. Oh, I'm not wearing a hat, but I've got a blue pen and a cup. So I've got mine. Nice. I'm seeing some people have theirs. Blue shirt, blue coin, not a blue coin. Hat. Cool. Blue hydro flask. Nice. Yes.
Does this count as a hat?
Sure.
Okay, don't we?
Someone's wearing it.
We have all of
Yeah,
them.
okay, we have all of it then. We're good.
Someone's wearing it, so I guess it counts. Yeah. All right, let's see how much time we have. We have about a minute left. So if you want to get your stuff in. Nice, nice. Vivian with the cup and I don't know what it was, a blue thing. Already found 5 things. Nice, Benedict. Nice, Zoe. Blue table, water bottle, a pen. Great. Wow, you guys are doing great at this. And quick. Like I thought that was going to be a lot more time, but you guys are superstars at this. Yeah. All right, so that was 3 minutes. Great job, you guys. Round of applause. I'm the only person clapping.
So we will go ahead and do our second breakout rooms. So you have the option of either to sit into delegation or a Q&A with Chrissy and Dan, and then the rooms will pop up so you can choose from.
Vivian, are you good staying in this room, helping people navigate? Great, thank you.
Yes.
Are we in delegation or?
So you can either pick delegation or Q&A with
Yeah,
Chrissy and Dan.
because I clicked delegation and nothing happened. So
Let me put you in there.
okay, thanks, Vivian.
No problem.
in the yoga club? It's Grace. Is Grace here? Yeah, Grace is here in the yoga club. Oh my gosh.
Sorry about that. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So like I said, my name is Destiny Jackson. I'm new in the student engagement department. I am over at CCBC Dundalk, and I am the new student engagement specialist. So today I'm going to be talking about delegation. It is super important. Delegation is something that as a leader, you will have to be doing a lot. There are many initiatives and responsibilities that clubs will have to manage, like recruitment, setting up meetings and events, funding, etc. And as leaders, you must be able to make sure that all these tasks are getting done. Some of these things may sound like something that multiple or one person can do multiple things, but sometimes having one person do all the work will lead to burnout and then things getting pushed aside and not finished. So a great quality in a leader is the ability to delegate, to spread these responsibilities amongst yourselves, and give everyone a chance to help your clubs and organizations grow and your team work together. So 4 important ideas to keep in mind when delegating are accountability, checkups, establishing roles, and deadlines. These 4 things just kind of help everybody like stay on track and make sure that, like I said, everything is getting done. And so the first one we will start with is accountability. So what is accountability? Taking responsibility for your own actions. So this means that when you do take on a task or a role, it means that you are saying, I can do this, you can trust me with this, and I will get this done. But that does not mean that you can't ask for help. So holding yourself accountable just means that if you know you cannot get something done, you will be honest with your team and say, look, I can't get like A, B, C, and D done. Is there somebody that could take over or help me out with something? Being honest with your team is a super important quality in a leader, and creating a culture of accountability means that your team will also feel comfortable asking for help and holding themselves responsible for the tasks that you give to them. When your team knows that you can trust each other to get stuff done, it means you don't have to worry about if someone else isn't going to fulfill their obligations, meaning everyone can just focus on the tasks that they are given. So when you create, like I said, when you create this culture of accountability and responsibility, things get done much smoother, and you can feel confident in knowing that if you ask someone to do something, that they will do it. And like I said, at the end of the day, you won't be focusing on what everyone else is doing as much as you are focusing on what you yourself are doing. The second, so checkups for a team are super important. It is just making sure that everyone is on the same page. There may be times where somebody might take on a task and not tell anybody, and then maybe somebody else in the group also takes on that same task and then they don't tell anybody, and then you have 2 people working on the same thing, getting different information, things like that. Sorry, did anybody have any questions about accountability before I go on? Okay, so like I said, just getting together, making sure everyone is on the same page. This allows for updates. So at this time, you can say, you know, where are you with this? Do you need any assistance with anything? At this time, it is also a good time to make sure that everybody is on the same deadlines, which is also something that we will get to. And this is also just a great way to make sure that nobody is doing too much or too little. And then as well as just checking up on the responsibilities and like tasks that everybody has, This is also a really good time to just check in with each other and see how everyone is doing. I mean, people in here are students or have their own responsibilities and obligations outside of clubs. So at this time, you can just see just like how everybody is doing, see if anybody is kind of reaching that moment where they feel like they are doing too much, and just kind of, you can take this time to also just decompress, kind of lay out, you know, the rest of the plan. And then at this time, you can also bring forward new tasks and responsibilities if you realize that maybe there's something that you haven't been working on, or that you haven't been working on, or you feel it's been pushed aside. This is the great time to bring that up and say, we really need to focus on this. I think that this is something super important that we haven't been focusing on enough. Okay. Establishing roles. So, sorry, did anybody have any questions on checkups? Okay. Establishing roles is a really big one. Okay, like I said in checkups, making sure that no one is doing too much or too little is a reason why establishing roles for each other is super important. In clubs, you as leaders need to make sure that everything is running smoothly, and by establishing roles, you can give everyone a chance to shine in their position. It is not about splitting the team up. It is not about saying, you're gonna work on this, you're gonna work on this, you're gonna work on that, and you can't do anything else. It is about saying, you're gonna take initiative on this, and you really need to focus on this. Recruiting, focusing on funding, setting up agendas, setting up events, like I said before, it sounds like something one person can do by themselves, but when you establish one person to focus on a set of tasks, you can allow more initiative to be done. So one really good idea is to get all of your basic responsibilities, like the one I listed, and decide which positions you should take initiative on. This way, when you get more tasks and new things to do, you automatically know who they go to. And then finally, deadlines. I know this word, sorry, what do you want to do when no one wants to fill the roles and there are gaps in responsibilities because only a few people are volunteering? Okay. So when filling roles, it's really important to make sure that you know what the role is before you put someone in the position. So what do you mean by only a few people are volunteering? Like you don't have enough leaders?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Someone in the chat said, what do you do when no one, yes, for example, no one in the coordinator or volunteer set up roles? So when starting a club, I feel like setting up roles is the first thing that you should really do. Just making sure which leader, like when you have your leaders, you want to set up the roles so that when the person says, I will be taking this role, they know what responsibilities and tasks are going to come with that role. So when you set up a treasurer, you know that the treasurer is going to work on funding. When you set up another role, you know that this role can work on like recruiting. Another role can be just making sure that the club is going smoothly. And another role can just kind of be like leading the team. These roles basically just make it easy so that if a role isn't filled, then everybody knows the responsibilities and tasks that this role was supposed to have, so that they will be able to take over and do those. So if somebody is not setting up the roles. I feel like that is definitely one of the first things that you want to be doing when you start a club, so that you know which leader is supposed to be taking initiative on something. And like I said, this is a great time to sit down and spread out the tasks that you know need to be done to keep your club running smoothly. And at this point, you can start putting them together. Yes, inviting and recruiting a friend or classmate. Starting a club is all about being a leader. And as Dan mentioned in his breakout room, recruitment is one of the most important things for a club. You want to be bringing people in. And when you're bringing people in, this can kind of bring forward a new leader, somebody who may not have seen like the leadership role in themselves, and this can give them a chance to shine in a position. So you can start out a role with smaller tasks, and then you can bring that forward and see if this person wants to take on more things. So if you're not having enough people to do the roles, like I said, saying this is what we know this person needs to do, you can split up these tasks and then put them amongst yourselves. So I would definitely say, just bringing something in new, bringing in a friend, recruiting a classmate, and then the responsibilities don't always have to be with the leaders. You can also give these to club members too. It doesn't have to be 5 people just doing these things by themselves and then just letting the club know when they're getting something done. You can definitely build leaders inside your club as well. When you're delegating roles, it's not so much saying that I don't want to do this, I want someone else to do it. It's more saying that I'm trusting this person. And when you create that accountability and you bring that together, then when you know that something can't get done, you have people that you can rely on that you know will get the role done. Yeah, so just because you've decided first that this one role is going to be doing this responsibility or task, that does not mean that somebody else can't hop on and say, I'm interested in doing this too. I'd also like to try this out. That is definitely something you can do. Like I said, it is not about splitting up the team and saying person A only works on this. It is all about everybody working together, but just giving some people a chance to shine in that certain role or responsibility. So deadlines. I know that this is not everybody's favorite word, but deadlines are extremely important when it comes to delegation. When you're assigning people tasks, you should know when these tasks need to be done. Some of them are something that happen all semester or throughout the entire club. Some of them might be a one-time thing, like an event you want to put on. Or some of them might just be the setting up the clubs, getting the people, getting the posters out. So deadlines are super important. For one, we all have obligations. You might have obligations that are outside. So due dates, yes, we can go with due dates. So you guys are students. You're gonna have obligations outside of your club, along with your personal obligations and your educational responsibilities. So when you're setting up due dates, you're giving yourself that time to get that done. And you can also now decide when you should be getting other stuff done. So it's not like last minute, I have to do this for the club, or just deciding randomly, like during the day, oh, I'm going to do this. Mini due dates can also help as well. So knowing that a club or knowing that an event is going to happen this day doesn't mean that everything should be done just by that day. You can set up due dates to say, by this time, I should have all the ideas for the club out, all the ideas for the events out. By this time, I should have sent out the email so that I can register. By this time, I should have reached out to these people. And by this time, I should have the posters done. And by this time, I should have the posters out, for example. Knowing when something should be done can allow you to prioritize some tasks. Yes, breaking it down is so much more easier than just knowing that a due date is just like looming in the background and just kind of getting a little worried about getting there. So when you're breaking it down, it really allows you to start prioritizing some tasks and setting aside maybe the others that might take a bit more time or might not be as important as other ones. So like I said, when you have something big coming up, you can start breaking things down and you can create a timeline for yourself and a timeline for everyone else. So if people are sharing responsibilities, you can just discuss amongst each other, this should be done by this time, you should have this done by this time, so that by this time we can all come together and we can all have it done. So if everybody is working on maybe the same responsibility or task, but they're kind of doing the different parts of it. When you're setting up these timelines, it can make sure that nothing is overlapping, nothing is being done before, something else needs to be done, and things like that. You can also set up check-ins to make sure that everybody is following this timeline to make sure that the things are getting done when they need to be. Okay. So basically, it is just super important that, are there any questions about deadlines? It is just super important as a team that, like I've said multiple times, that you are not taking this as everybody is working on something else. Who should set them? If you're taking responsibility on one task in particular that's like specific to your role and responsibility, you should set that for yourself. If everybody is working on one big responsibility or task together, then everybody should be coming together and like setting it all out and saying, we should have this done by this time, we should have this done by this time, and we should have this done by this time. I definitely think that it is super important that everybody is up to date on everyone else's timelines, just to make sure that the check-ins are going over everything that they need to go over. But I would say if you're deciding who should set them, it really depends on what the task is, what the obligation is. But I think that everybody should be on the same page of when these things are getting done. What say do advisors have on delegation? So your advisors should definitely at least be overlooking everything, and this is a great way for them to get advice from your advisor. That is why they're there, to advise. So when you're talking to your advisor and as leaders, you can, kind of ask them about all the things that they have going on and asking for advice. But I believe that as a leader, you should definitely be taking that stand to kind of instill the quality or the skill of delegation in yourself. But I would definitely say that going to your advisors and just saying, what do you think, is always a great idea. Yes, your advisors are there for you, for your club, for your education, for everything. Your advisors will be like number one. But I would definitely just say with delegation, it's all about making sure that you're not reaching that point of burnout. There is so much going on that if you're taking on all these responsibilities and you're thinking that you have to do everything by yourself, that is what your team is for. Your team is there so that everybody is working together and getting things done. I definitely think that just delegating, like I said, is not about saying that you don't think that you can do something. It's that you know that you can rely on your team to get something done. That is the most important part of working on a team. So when you create that culture of accountability and saying that you can come forward, that you can say, I do need help with something, and that you can put these tasks to somebody else and know that they can get done, it can just make things run so much smoother for your team. Any other questions? Which do I think is the most important? Accountability. accountability, just, I feel like every single one of the letters, the background of them is accountability. So checkups is your time to be accountable and say that I'm getting this done or I need help. The establishing roles, that means that when you've established this role and you've stepped into it, you're taking accountability that says, I know what this role is bringing forward, and I know that I can handle all the responsibilities of this role. And with the due dates, it means that you're taking accountability and saying, I'm saying that I'm going to get this done by this time, and that means that I'm going to be getting this done by this time. I feel like accountability is one of the greatest qualities in a leader, because sometimes people will be looking to you to say, like, how do we do this? And as a leader, it is okay to say sometimes we're going to need help. So I would just definitely say accountability is probably the most important. If a member is not taking responsibility in their role, you should have, and I'm going to say my favorite word again, that culture of accountability, to the point where hopefully the member is able to come forward and say that they're not. But if you truly do feel like the member is not taking responsibility, you should just have that time to check in. And it could also just be not a full team thing. It could just be a you and them thing, and say, like, what is going on? You know, it's like, we asked you to do these tasks, you should definitely have, you can come forward and say that you need help. Sometimes they might be scared to ask for help, and then things don't get done. And just, so if you've created that culture, hopefully they're able to come forward. But if they're not, this could definitely be a time where you sit with them, or of course you can bring it up to your advisor. And your advisor maybe could have a way to say to them, we're noticing that things aren't getting done, and just kind of having that meeting where you're sitting down with them. And like I said, you could sit down with them and the advisor, you could sit down with them just one-on-one, but definitely just creating that, definitely just creating that environment where people should be able to come forward. And if they're not, that you feel comfortable to come to them. If someone is taking on too much, one of the issues with someone taking on too much is burnout, but also, like I said, that things don't get done, and then they end up stressing themselves out, and then sometimes nothing gets done. So when you're doing your check-in, one thing that like I said, you can do is that you can set everything that everyone is doing out. And even at this time, you can move around the tasks that people have taken on and say, maybe this is better suited for this person, maybe this is better suited for this person, or this person and this person can work together. Sometimes people don't realize that they're taking on too much, and this can cause roles to even overlap where somebody else can't get their own role done. So definitely during these check-ins, if you're noticing that somebody is doing a lot, you can take that time to kind of spread those tasks out and see if it could be easier done if it's split up between 3 people instead of 1. In person is usually best, but virtual can also be a good way. Text can kind of be okay, but sometimes it is nice just to have that, like, face-to-face interaction. Are there any other questions?
Thank you, Destiny. That was really helpful.
Thank you. I really appreciate your time just taking it out to just I guess piece apart what each individual thing is so that we can understand like the new leaders, especially like me. Like I don't know what I'm doing. So so thank you.
That is, like I said, great quality in a leader is to come forward and say that you need help.
Romeo wrote in the chat box that also doing many tasks, we still want to make sure we all do it correctly and in accord. So yeah, that's important too. So stepping up as a leader, stepping back as a leader, calling stuff out when it's wrong, accepting the feedback like, oh, my bad. I didn't sleep last night. I misspelled that. It's okay. It's all good. It's all learning, right?
And I just wanted to say something real quick as an advisor. Hopefully you all's passion for whatever club or organization you're a part of is also what's driving you to do your best. We know that all can't be done by one person, but hopefully you just have enough love for what it is you're passionate about to make sure things do get done.
Okay, thank you all so much.
Thank you. See you back in the big room.
So I know folks are coming back from the breakout rooms, but what I was hoping everyone could do, if you could just take a moment, and if you did not already introduce yourself, which was just mostly the advisors, if you could just put your name and your club organization that you're representing today in the chat, that will help us figure out who's here today and be able to do some of our fun drawings at the end of the day. So thank you all.
Um,
All right, I think everyone's back, Vivian.
We're gonna go ahead and do an activity, and Destiny will be leading it. And I'm going to go to the first slide. So what do you guys think this is? You can type it in the chat or unmute yourselves.
Think outside the box.
Yes.
That is correct.
One in a million, baby. Time flies when you're having fun.
The day after tomorrow. Barking up the wrong tree. All bets are off the table.
Off the table.
Come on, we got to race.
Okay. Oh, great job, everyone. And our last session is going to be hosted by Renica. Take it away.
I didn't know that was going to happen. I forgot that was going to happen. And I just love stuff like that. So fun. Hello, everybody. I'm Rainica. You know who I am. So we're going to jump into, wait. Let me just do something real fast here. I drink a little bit too much coffee. And so I breathe. So college provides an excellent atmosphere for cultivating a sense of belonging, right? So that's what I'm going to dive into a little bit today. Fostering a culture of belonging. All right. So feel free to use your hand icon at the bottom of your screen or the chat box to help me respond to the question. When you see or hear the word belonging, what comes to mind? And as I look over in the chat box, I see family, inclusivity. I love that. My thing is going crazy here. What else? What else coming through? Inclusion, acceptance, friends, togetherness, diversity, fitting in, feeling good, community. These are great responses. Any more coming through? Grace towards others. You guys are giving me goosebumps. What else? What else? I love these responses. Very, very good. Being a part of something, being a part of society. Yes. I don't know what's happening with my chat box, but it keeps going back up. So let me do it this way. Personal and interpersonal community says, wow, allowed to be yourself. Yes, your authentic self, overcoming challenges. Belonging is a sense or encounter of being welcome, embraced, and linked to a specific group, community, location, or idea. That is great response. Good energy. Yes. Thank you for sharing these lovely answers. So as we keep moving along, may I have 4 volunteers? I think I'm about to get a sore throat. Okay, so I see, is it Shania, and Contessa?
It's Shania.
Sorry. I see Shania, Contessa, Benedict, and one more person. Who's my 4th? Lisen. In that order, can you please read each bullet point? Shania.
A sense of communication and acceptance within a group.
Feeling valued and respected for who you are.
Having a safe space and to share your thoughts and experience.
Opportunity to contribute and make a difference.
So after reading those, after hearing our amazing volunteers just read all of that, the strength and sense of belonging manifests as it heightens student engagement, enhanced academic well-being, improved mental health, a more robust club identity, and diverse membership. So can you guys use your reaction buttons on the bottom of your screens to show after they read that? How did it make you feel inside? Because it made me feel all warm and fuzzy. I see hearts. Anybody else? Did you feel happy inside? Did you feel like, oh my God, I didn't know that? Did you want to give them some applause because they read so awesome? I know, it feels good, right? Yeah. So anyway, you're in the right space. So as we keep moving along, this next slide has a powerful quote, and it says, wait, am I skipping over stuff? Am I out of order? Am I? I think I just read it too fast. So the power of belonging. Yes, these 4 points here. Yeah, we did read that. I read that too fast. I'm sorry, friends. I didn't sleep well last night. I'm so tired. So did you know, now 65, this powerful quote that says, an estimated 64% of students reported self-isolation most or all of the time. Is that wild? What do you guys think about that?
I think it's true. I
Why?
feel that way all the time, especially now.
Yeah, right? Like, what?
I
What do
think
you
it
do to
makes
get out of it?
sense.
I mean, some people, oh my bad.
Go ahead.
Because some people need to open up either their comfort zone or comfort space or try to be more open-minded. But also they can also do other things like joining clubs or going to more social events. But it is not those things, they're mostly still less extrovert than introverted. That I guess that just taking one step at a time or just me one person at a time. You know?
Right. So that leads us into our next slide. So what do you think are some barriers when it comes to belonging?
I think part of
Communication.
it, I'm sorry. I was gonna say, I think part of it is possibly generational. I'm an older generation. Praise God, I'm a wonderful 48. So I didn't grow up with all this technology and online, this and that. You had to be in person in order to connect with people. Now, especially after and during the pandemic, online is where it's at. So it's easy to become isolated when your typical or your normal habits don't involve in-person activities. So that's a huge challenge. And now, in a blessing, we have a lot of out-of-state students, and that even becomes a challenge. How do we include our out-of-state students in our different clubs?
Yes, great points. Great points. Technology, comparison, I see. Yep. Get off the screen and be more social. Any other responses that come to mind or other barriers that come in place when you think of belonging? The inability to relate. Absolutely.
I also had one.
Mm-hmm.
So I could, from my personal experience, I know I was very antisocial. And I guess because I'm like, awkward with talking to new people and all that, I kind of like decide to separate myself. And that becomes a barrier from me trying to belong in a community, especially a new one.
That's a good answer. Yes. So one of the cool things about being a student leader is all of these cool answers you're giving throughout our workshop. Throughout the school year, we talk about different topics like this. We talk about your personality. We talk about, are you an introvert, an extrovert, and how do you like utilize your strengths and weaknesses? And so there's so many ways to, get through some tough barriers. Lisa wrote, I think a lot of students coming straight out of high school find belonging in college difficult because they don't know or have that same support, right? And they have to build it themselves. There's an increased discomfort with participating, Ms. Sharon says. Yeah, all these are great. Contessa, low self-acceptance, low self-esteem. Yeah, let's see some of the answers that you guys are right on. So as you see here are bullet points. Isolation and feeling out of place. Imposter syndrome, lack of awareness or diverse backgrounds and experiences, right? Stereotypes and prejudice. So has anybody ever heard of that word, imposter syndrome? And do you know what that means? Can you share it with us?
So this is so wild. I have heard it before, and when I first heard it, I was like, that doesn't even sound real. But I recently realized that I was actually experiencing it and didn't realize it. So it's so crazy when I saw that word. Imposter syndrome is when you feel like, even though, and I'll just use my own situation and maybe try and help give a real life experience to help make it make sense.
Yeah.
So I'm studying sign language. Like December, I got my AA degree from CCBC in American Sign Language and Deaf Culture. And right now, like I'm literally sitting in a deaf church where I work part-time, but I still kept feeling like I wasn't good enough. Even though they approached me and was like, hey, do you want to work here? And I've had a lot of blessings that I can't even begin to name in my sign language journey, but I still kept feeling like I'm not really that good of a signer. I'm not really good enough. That's all I kept feeling like I'm not good enough to be here. I always felt nervous waiting for someone to see like, oh, wait a minute, she's just faking it. And so I had to realize for me, I'm a person of faith. I was like, wait a minute, God keeps putting me in these situations. So God's letting me know he thinks I'm good enough. I need to realize God's not wrong. I am. So in that, I'm realizing, I'm good enough for where I am right now. And yeah, that imposter syndrome, it sounds like a weird word, but it's real. It's when you just feel like you don't measure up, when in reality, not only do you measure up, but you're probably further along than you give yourself credit for.
Yeah. That was a great response. And some of these that are coming through the chat box, absolutely. So, a lot of the things we talk about in yoga is it all starts with yourself and knowing who you are as a person and knowing how awesome you are or areas you need to work at and trusting that and then following it, right? Despite what other people say. Like you have to be your own cheerleader, right? And work through things like that. And then of course you have our awesome student engagement, everybody in the office, other clubs, like we can like have conversations about this or how to get through things like imposter syndrome and stuff like that. Where is the offering basket? I'll just send you my bank account. No, I'm just kidding. Just totally joking, Mr. But yeah, so you guys are really doing so well with this. And so let's keep it moving here.
Benedict had his hand raised.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. Yeah, what you got, buddy?
I was gonna quickly add that to experiences is mostly when someone takes or damages someone's belonging per se. That person shut out any closer connection or any relationship to that.
Yeah, totally right. Certain obstacles to fostering a sense of belonging, um, you know, include isolation, imposter syndrome, a lack of diversity, and even a lack of understanding, which leads to false stereotypes and prejudices. So once you can recognize these barriers and then think and journal and have conversations with people like, how can I get past these things? How can I help you get past these things? Right? Okay, nice answers. Um, so how can we build a culture of belonging? What can we do?
We could be more accepting to all types of diversity and not just what you're looking for in the picture perfect group.
Absolutely. What else does being accepting look like? Vivian says, know that we are all the same. This is the prayer hands, and you say namaste, and that means the light in me honors the light in you, right? So let's see, we see communication, empathy, creating a safe space, spot on, creating a welcoming energy, absolutely. Try to be more approachable, open to other ideas, not as right or wrong, but just different. Yes. Has anybody ever heard of the phrase like, let's just agree to disagree. Like, that's okay. That's what makes us unique. We all have different thoughts, opinions, feelings. Not having set standards that everyone should meet, letting people be who they are. Yes. That's really good. Let's see, any other answers coming through? How can we build a sense of cultural belonging? How can we build a culture of belonging? Romeo, you got your hand raised. Asking questions is super important. There's no such thing as a silly question, even if you ask it 20 times. Romeo, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you hear me?
Yes.
I was gonna say, like basically getting familiar and entertaining other people's cultures, and getting like entertaining those things, figuring out like what, why is it that they do what they do, and the differences that you probably just don't agree with.
Yeah. And that's okay. Right? What else do we have here? I see Brandy wrote being an active participant in communicating, shutting down status quo, and do the opposite of assimilation. You guys are in your responses. Wow, I love that. Yes, you got to stand up and speak out. And you can do these in loving ways for sure. Any other answers? And then to add, but you guys are definitely on the right track. So some of your answers are on our nice little presentation here. So in addition to some of the things you've mentioned, you can partner with other clubs, yoga clubs, always looking to partner. We did some fun collabs last semester with the honors program. We would like to do some more with, there's so many ways we can work together, like to build that sense of belonging. Creating a buddy system in our club, we call it accountability buddy. So like, just reminding each other of stuff, or hey, I'll see you at the next meeting kind of thing. Having an open door policy. And students know they can always come to my office whenever they want. The student engagement office is like that. If you guys ever had any questions throughout the semester, you're always welcome to go to their offices. You could also host events like cultural exchange night as an idea. Knowing your pronouns, having a coffee chat. So if there's something you guys, want to do with other clubs, you can start connecting with them, reaching out to them, and seeing what fun things you guys could create together. Any questions, comments, concerns so far? Oh, I see in the chat box, ask advisors for helps. We also like to collaborate. MCSA, awesome. Yes, let's do some fun stuff together. So club initiatives aimed at fostering a sense of belonging can significantly contribute to creating that supportive, inclusive environment and community where members feel valued, connected, and engaged. So you see here on the slide, it says, what resources and tools can you use if you feel like you don't belong? So on the screen here, it says a trusted friend, an advisor. We have our student success navigators. Are they able to scan this, Vivian? Right? So if you guys want to scan that, I can't see Vivian. She disappeared. So if you want to scan it, I think you can scan it. Let's see in the chat box.
Yeah, you can scan it, and then you can also make set up a meeting with them. And they are based on all three of our main campuses. And if you're an online student, you can also talk to a success navigator by setting up a virtual meeting. You could either call them by phone or a Teams or a Zoom meeting. So
That is so cool. So go ahead and screenshot this. I'm about to say what I'm typing, that I am so blown away with technology. Like, I just can't even. But you guys have multiple resources here at CCBC is our point. So use that, connect with people. And I think I said it earlier, but like these people that you connect with, you become lifelong friends, you become your networking system, you have mentors, throughout your life's journey, and it's all great. So in closing, friends, CCVC and college in general offers a bunch of resources. So I encourage in you to just get out there, step out of your comfort zones. It ensures a rich tapestry of support systems that empower individuals like yourself to cultivate that profound sense of belonging. So we are excited to share this community spirit and inclusion together. And while I have this time, I'm going to just insert a shameless plug to come join the yoga club, embrace the journey to holistic well-being, and join us here. And, where mindfulness meets community, fostering a space for self-discovery and connection. So join us on the mat for a transformative experience. And that's my time, folks.
Romeo had his hand raised. Romeo had his hand raised.
Yes.
Hey, Miss Renica, I was gonna ask you. I know that you're a fabulous yoga instructor and everything, but like, in what ways have you, found these resources to be, beneficial for you along your professional and scholastic involvements?
Can you say that a little louder, Romeo?
Yeah, I was saying that I know that you are a fabulous yoga instructor, but besides that, in what ways have you been able to use these resources, in your personal and scholastic endeavors, involvements?
So unfortunately, I only have 4 minutes, and I can talk to you about this for hours. But a short answer is I moved here from Chicago, and I started at CCVC as a student, and I work at CCVC now. And so, like, I feel like everything that I've learned since my transition to Maryland in learning sign language, it led me to yoga, it led me to like working here. Like, I feel like it's all interconnected. And I have an awesome community around me that's supportive and that are honest and open with me. And so I love that. And I think that also helps me feeling a sense of community and belonging. And then also it just has created some very healthy relationships, healthy conversations, with everybody that I encounter. That's the short answer. I hope that
Thank you.
makes sense.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
All right, I'll pass the mic to who's next? Miss Chrissy.
It's me. It's me. All right, everybody. Yeah, I love shameless plugs because I think those are always great. And I think every single one of you would do a shameless plug if you could. Because every single one of you are here today because you want to better not just yourself, but your club and organization here at CCBC. And for that, we are very thankful that you took some time out of your day to join us and to participate in these different sessions with us. I do just want to take a moment and thank Vivian. Vivian coordinated this entire 2 hours for you all. And while it is part of her job, I think it's to be commended for what she did. And thank you to everyone who presented today and shared knowledge with us. So in closing, I get to draw some prizes, because who doesn't like some prizes? So one thing that we do, first of all, is we see what club has the highest representation here today. And we actually have two clubs that have a pretty high representation. 5 students have identified within both of these clubs. So what we will do is provide a pizza party. I know every club is different, but our pizza party will be for 10 to 12 people that we will provide you for free. If you need more, you can always use your budget to do so, but we will provide it for 10 to 12 people. And those 2 clubs is going to be our Student Dental Hygiene Association, which actually won in the fall too. So I feel like they have a really good representation, but also our Multicultural Student Association. So both of you have done great job in having representation here. So you just need to connect with Vivian or myself, and we will make that pizza party happen for you, and let you know the specifics about that. The other part is we get to draw for winners of money on the one card. So Vivian, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's 2 winners, correct?
Yes, one gets $50 and the other one gets 25.
All right, well, I'm gonna take control of this. And can everyone see my wheel? It's very exciting. Okay, so the first one we're gonna draw is for, what did you say, Vivian? 25 and what? You didn't say 25.
I did 25 and 50.
Let's do the 25 one first. All right, here we go. Jenna. So if you are
Yay,
Jenna,
thank you.
yay. So if Jenna, if you could send me a private message in the chat with your full name and your CCBC ID number, then we can get that money on your card.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right. And now for the $50. It is Sarah. Sarah, are you still here, Sarah? Because you have to be present to win. I probably should have said that. Sarah, are you here? Did Sarah leave and missed out on the opportunity? Womp, womp, womp. All right, do it again. Oh, just slipped. Bill, are you still here?
Bill!
I'm here.
All right, Bill. Congratulations! All right, Bill. So just send me a private message with your full name and your CCBC ID number, and we will get that money on your one card. Vivian will be sending you all an email as a follow-up that will have an evaluation on it. We want to hear back from you all about today and your feedback and things that we can do in order to better this for the future, because you know it's something we're proud of. Don't forget to sign up for Connect Fest. Don't forget the classes start on Monday. I don't want you to forget that either, because well, that's happening. If you were on the Essex campus, I encourage you to stop by. We got renovated and we're back in our space and it's beautiful, and we want you to come and check it out. But of course, if you're at Dundalk and Catonsville, stop by those offices too. They're lovely and wonderful. They're just not renovated. So I don't want to not spread the love there. And I think that's about it. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too.
Thank you.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a great evening, great weekend.
You too.
Oh, you too.
Also, Dan, I didn't get to show off my Easter egg.